Okay, so we will now proceed with the discussion of the civil works. So I will now turn you over to our designers. Okay.
Okay. Good morning. For the infra projects, contract ID 25HH 0043, Convergence and Special Support Program, Basic Infrastructure Program or BIP, multipurpose buildings / facilities to support social services, construction, completion of multipurpose building, Barangay San Nicolas Proper, Cebu City, Cebu, with an ABC of 7.9 million, and 7,920,000, with a contract duration of 180 calendar days. For the source of funds, FY 2025 DPWH Infrastructure Program based on NEP. Okay. For San Nicolas Proper, ang location na to is kuan. Amo sa kuan ang plan mo. Ganun lang kayo.
So we'll proceed to the next project due to some technical problems. So for contract ID 25HH 0047, Convergence and Special Support Program, Sustainable Infrastructure Projects, Alleviating Gaps, Access Roads and or bridges from the national roads leading to major strategic public buildings, facilities, construction of road, Barangay Inayawan, Package 2, Cebu City, Cebu, with an ABC of 4,900,000. Contract duration is 7 to 72 calendar days. The source of funds is FY 2025 DPWH Infrastructure Program based on NEP. So the station limits of the project is station 8 plus 836.6 to station 9 plus 014.6 with net length of 178. So here's the location plan of the project with its coordinates, the start and end. So for the scope of work, we have provision of combined field office, laboratory and living quarters, building for the engineer, and operation and maintenance of the temporary field office, laboratory, living quarters, building for the engineer, permits and clearances, miscellaneous survey and staking, project billboard, signboard, occupational safety and health, occupational safety and health program, traffic management, mobilization, demobilization. So we also have to remove the actual structure and obstruction, which is the existing PCCP, surplus common excavation, and subgrade preparation with a aggregate sub-base scores of 0.2. PCCP pavement and reinforce 0.30 meters thick, 7 days curing. And then we have to reconditioning the drainage structures. So here's the general notes and technical specifications and the typical road section. So that's it for 25HH47. Next. So for contract ID 25HH0046, Convergence and Special Support Program, Sustainable Infrastructure Projects, Alleviating Gaps, Access Roads and or Bridges from the National Roads, leading to major strategic public buildings, facilities, construction of road, Barangay Apas, Cebu City, Cebu, with an ABC of 4,900,000. Contract duration is 72 calendar days. Source of funds is FY 2025 DPWH Infrastructure Program based on NEP. So for the plan, the station limits of the project is chainage 0 to chainage 172 with net length of 172 linear meters. So here's the location plan of the project. Here's the geotag photos and the coordinates. For the scope of work, with the general requirements for provision of combined field office, laboratory and living quarters, building for the engineer, operation and maintenance of the temporary field office. Then we also have the permits and clearances, miscellaneous survey and staking, project billboard, signboard, occupational safety and health program, traffic management, mobilization, removal of actual structures and obstruction, the existing PCCP, and also removal of the sidewalk, curb and gutter. And for the others is the removal of concrete. We will be having a surplus common excavation, pipe culverts and drain excavation, gravel fill, provision of subgrade preparation, aggregate sub-base scores 0.2 thick, PCCP pavement 0.2 meter thick, 14 days curing, reinforcing steel, structural concrete for the line canal, paint, metal frames and grating for the drainage, the cross drain, and another metal frames grating for the closed line canal. Provision of concrete curb and gutter, and lastly the sidewalk. So here's the general notes and technical specification, and it's typical road section of the project. So next is contract ID 25H 25HH49. Contract name O1 ensure safe and reliable national road system asset preservation program, preventive maintenance, Tertiary Roads, B. Burgos Street. Section ID 116CB, chainage 0 to chainage 11, chainage 11 to chainage 83, chainage 83 to chainage 218, section ID 117CB from chainage 0 to chainage 58 with an ABC of 16,660,000. Contract duration is 72 calendar days. Source of funds, FY 2025 DPWH infrastructure program based on NEP. So the net length of the project is 268 linear meters. So here's the location plan of the project. It's geotag photos and the coordinates of the start and end of the project. For the summary of quantities, provision of combined field office, laboratory, and living quarters, building for the engineer, and then operation and maintenance of the temporary field office, laboratory, and living quarters. We also have permits and clearances, miscellaneous survey and staking, project billboard, occupational safety and health, traffic management, mobilization, removal of asphalt pavement, 0.05 meter thick, removal of sidewalk, removal of curb and gutter, provision of emulsified asphalt, bituminous concrete surface wearing course, hot laid 50 mm, and then we have paint, provision of curb and gutter precast, sidewalk 100 mm thick, and lastly the pavement markings white and yellow. So here's the general notes and technical specification and its typical cross-section. So for contract ID 25HH50 with a contract name 01, ensure safe and reliable national road system, asset preservation program, preventive maintenance, tertiary roads, Gov Cuenco Avenue, kilometer 5 plus minus 911 to kilometer 5 plus minus 743, kilometer 5 plus 542 to kilometer 5 plus 722, kilometer 5 plus 737 to kilometer 5 plus 958. Section ID 428CB, chainage 328 to chainage 410. Section ID 432CB, chainage 0 to chainage 28, and then chainage 28 to chainage 196. So the ABC of this project is 47,040,000. Contract duration is 100 calendar days. Source of funds is FY 2025 DPWH infrastructure program based on NEP. So the net length of the project is 828 meters. Here's the location plan and geotag photos of the project. For the summary of quantities, we have the provision of combined field office, laboratory, and living quarters, building for the engineer, operation and maintenance of the temporary field office, laboratory, and living quarters, building for the engineer, permits and clearances, miscellaneous survey and staking, project billboard, occupational safety and health program, traffic management, mobilization, demobilization, the removal of sidewalk, removal of asphalt concrete pavement, removal of curb and gutter, provision of emulsified asphalt and bituminous concrete surface wearing course hot laid 50 mm. We also have the paint, sidewalk, curb and gutter, precast, and thermoplastic pavement markings, white and yellow. Here's the general notes and technical specifications and its typical road section.
So for contract ID 25HH0048, contract name 001, ensure safe and reliable national road system, bridge program, rehabilitation, or major repair of permanent bridges, Candoman Bridge B00401CB along Gov Cuenco, Cebu City. Project description, bridge, rehabilitation, approved budget of contract 9,800,000 Philippine pesos, contract duration 130 calendar days, source of funds fiscal year 2025 DPWH infrastructure program based on NEP. So the location will be on the Candoman Bridge where the boundary between to Candoman and to Talamban. Station limits to 0 and station 55, bridge length 55 meters. Next is the location plan, the geotag photos, and the coordinates. Next is the summary of quantities, the A116 provision of combined field office, operation and maintenance of the temporary field office, permits and clearances, bridge survey and staking, project billboard, signboard, occupational safety and health program, traffic management, mobilization or demobilization, structural concrete, Class A 7 days, paint and expansion joint. And this is the general notes and the technical specifications. Next is the general bridge plan and general bridge elevation and its general cross section. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Academic project, ma'am. So to continue for contract ID 25HH0051, Convergence and Special Support Program, Sustainable Infrastructure Projects Alleviating Gaps, or CPAG, access roads and or bridges from the national road leading to major or strategic public buildings and facilities. Construction of bridge, Sitio Katilyang, Barangay Sirao, Cebu City. Project description, bridge construction, concrete, approved budget of contract, 49 million Philippine pesos. Contract duration, 304 calendar days. Source of funds, fiscal year 2025 DPWH infrastructure program based on NEP. So location is in Barangay Sirao, and station limits of 0 to station 50, bridge length of 50 meters. So this is the location plan and the geotag photos of the start and end of the project and its coordinates. Next is the general notes and the summary of quantities. So you can see the provision of field office, operation and maintenance of the said office, permits and clearances, bridge survey and staking, project billboard or signboard, occupational safety and health program, mobilization or demobilization, detour access or road, geotechnical exploration, general scaffolding and shoring, bridge structure excavation, shoring and cribbing, and embankment from roadway, embankment from barrow, precast concrete pile, precast concrete piles driven, reinforcing steel grade 40 and 60, structural concrete 4,000 PSI or 27.58 MPa class A 28 days, lean concrete paint, grouted riprap class A, stone masonry and drain pipe galvanized. So the target scope of work in this project involves the construction of a 50-meter long multi-span bridge starting from the establishment of foundations to the completion of all structural, functional, and aesthetics aspects. So this is the general bridge plan and the general elevation and its section at pier and section at abutment.
Hello. For the building projects, contract ID 25HH0043. Convergence and Special Support Program, Basic Infrastructure Program, or BIP, multipurpose buildings / facilities to support social services. Construction, completion of multipurpose building, Barangay San Nicolas Proper, Cebu City, Cebu, with an ABC of 7,920,000 and 180 calendar days for the duration. For the source of funds, FY 2025 DPWH Infrastructure Program based on NEP. Okay. The project is located mismo gid sa Barangay Hall sa San Nicolas, no? Okay. So, kini showing mo ni ang existing nga barangay hall sa San Nicolas. Ang atong main scope of work kini kay sa atubangan niya nate i-propose diha nga balcony. Yes ma'am. Oo. The raised slab. Sa osar na siya ka floor, bali ang suspended slab ani kay nara sa second floor. And open na siya. Still ang below ani is open siya kay kining D1 mao man ang main entrance sa barangay. So padong kasod kini proposed hallway to door 1 mo na ang tibuok sa barangay hall. So kini mo na atong major scope of works. So kini siya mo kuan ni siya uh, structure excavation, embankment, gravel fill, for the reinforcing concrete for the footing, the tie beams, the columns, the beams and girder, ug ang suspended slab. Also here, reflected sa dire, kining fire exit. So ato po din siyang i-construct using steel nga mga materials. No? So wala ni siya dito i-construct ni up to the 4th floor. Okay, and other than that, ang repainting na sa Barangay Hall sa Nicolas. So, kini, no? Mao na ito i-construct. Ang fire exit niya, mao nang maggamit na ng tag-steel kay para ato rang separate ra siya nga structure sa existing building. Okay? So, mauna ang atong scope of works for the construction completion of multipurpose building Barangay San Nicolas. Na ang landmark kay ang Barangay Hall. San Nicolas. Kanang the Prince Dan. Daghang San Nicolas sakto. Kang for the next contract ID 25HH0044, Convergence and Special Support Program, Basic Infrastructure Program or BIP, multipurpose buildings / facilities to support social services, construction of multipurpose building package A, Barangay Tisa, Cebu City, Cebu. It is a building construction with an ABC of 7,920,000 and 144 for the calendar days. Same source of funds, FY 2025 DPWH Infrastructure Program based on NEP. Tisa. Ang Tisa located, ang iyang landmark kay ang Barangay Hall sa Tisa. So, construction good ni siya. No? So, we are proposing a 3-story multipurpose building. So here, reflected kini siya nga building mao ni ang existing barangay hall sa Barangay Tisa nya sa loyo niya mao ni atong i-construct, no? Na siya existing building, a 1-story building for demolition nya mao nang atong ilisan og building. Okay, for this contract lang, since we only have 7 million ABC, package A, na-include niya kay ang structural lang up to the 3rd floor. No, mo nang sa atong scope of works, mainly naaragita sa earthworks and the plain and reinforced concrete works. No, mo ang first, ang removal of the existing structure, ato nang i-demolish, structure excavation, embankment from structure excavation, and gravel fill. For the reinforcing concrete works, lean concrete, ang atong footings and slab, the column, suspended slab, the beams and girders, we are using grade 40 deformed reinforcing steel and formworks. Okay, and lastly, ang atong mga conduits for the electrical. Okay, so naaratay 15 by 6.5 meters ang atong dimension. It is a 3-story building. No? So, mao ni siya, rectangular ang atong building and 3-story. So, for this contract alone, narata sa structural nga aspect sa building. Okay. So, That's it for the Barangay Tisa construction of multipurpose building, Barangay Tisa, which is located loyo lang gyud sa existing barangay hall sa Tisa. Okay, sa may labangon man na siya, no? For the last contract ID 25HH0045 Convergence and Special Support Program, Basic Infrastructure Program or BIP, multipurpose buildings / facilities to support social services, construction completion of multipurpose building, Package A, Barangay Calunasan, Cebu City, Cebu. It is a building construction completion and with an ABC of 8,910,000 pesos, 150 for the entire duration, and FY 2025 DPWH infrastructure program based on NEP for the source of funds. Kalunasan. So, sige. Ang Kalunasan, na siya building daan, no? Newly constructed by the LGUs. So, bare siya ang status karon, final na siya sa LGU, mo nang musod na ta. So, nahog siya phase 2 ni siya, no? So, mura siya phase 2 na. No? Kay existing naman. Here, sa right side, maoni ang newly constructed atong finished product sa maong building. Shown here sa right side kay purely structural pagid siya up to the roofing. No? So, why painting, why doors and windows opening naa. Sa sud na ang stairs, concrete stairs. So, sa atong contract for this kanang allocation, mo na ang atong scope of works kay mainly for the finishing works. So, diha ang framed glass door, sliding type, swing type, glass windows for the sliding, awning, and fixed type, aluminum glass windows using 10 mm thick, and the wooden doors and windows, and railing, we are using mga stainless nga mga materials. Ceiling, glazed tiles and glazed tiles. The painting works for the masonry and wood, and the plumbing fixtures. No? Ako lang ikuan dito is, wala kayo tayo electrical works ani kay already installed sa phase 1. Although, natay ceiling works ani kay atong i-move ang ilang electrical para makabot na tag ceiling. Bali, ang ilang suga nga to is nakapilit na sa slab, suspended slab. No? So, sa ato nga rin, nag-ceiling nag-request sila nga butangan na tog ceiling, unya ato ra pud ibalik ang ilang suga. For that item, dire ang gibutang sa kining removal, no? So, ang pagtaod, dihapod nga item na to gibutang. Mao nang wala tay item for the electrical works. O atong kuhaon lang ilang mga suga nya install tag ceiling. O yes ma'am. No. Di makakantang sila sa bagay subject for kuha pa sila. Bago lang na human. So nindot siya kung ay ceiling kay mo to naman sa suspended slab. Ato lang balik ang ilang mga lighting fixtures. Mo nang wala tay lighting outlets, lighting fixtures, panel boards, wala kay already installed, no? So expecting ta nga ma-finish na ni siya, nga ma-functional na gyud ang buong building. Here shown mo ni ground floor, kuan ra day siya, no? 10.8 by 9.8 ang atong dimension. Ground floor, second floor, third floor, unya roof deck. Okay. So, roofing, oo na dito, nataod na. So for this contract lang yun, focus kita sa mga finishing works for installation na lang yun. Okay? So, I think, ma'am, we're all done for today's pre-bid conference, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much to the designers and programmers. So we will now have the voiceover for some reminders.
Good morning once again. For the additional information for the bidders, for the documents to be submitted, these following requirements will be discussed in the preparation of the documents. First, for the technical proposal, the basic eligibility requirement during the submission of bids in the field certificate of registration and membership must be current and updated in accordance with the provisions of the IRR. And its registration is proper and relevant to the particular type of procurement. In lieu of the Class A eligibility documents uploaded and maintained current and updated in the PhilJEPs. Bidders are required to submit their PhilJEPs certificate of registration during bid submission. Next, if ang bidder is not enrolled in CWA, the bidder must attach validated PCAB license and registration, statement of all ongoing and completed government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, whether or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid within the period provided in the bidding documents, given emphasis as per Department Order number 36 series of 2015. For this, strong emphasis is given to this matter since this will be strictly revalidated and checked upon during the detailed bid evaluation. Non-compliance of this is subjected for sanction per DEO number 17 series of 2015 under the 3-strike policy report. Next, statement of single largest completed contract or SLCC similar to the contract to be bid at least 50% of the ABC. Net financial contracting capacity or NFCC computation and statement of total assets and liabilities. Next is the mayor's permit or business permit must be present. Tax clearance, audited financial statement, duly received by BIR at least 2 years from bidding date, income tax return or ITR. Next is for DTI for sole proprietorship and CDA for cooperatives. For a corporation, there should be a secretary's certificate or board resolution duly notarized indicating the authorized and designated signing official. Next, JVA, if applicable, which requires special PCAB license and registration with percentage of 2 contractors. For the bid security, the contractor can choose among the applicable forms of bid security, which the duration is 120 calendar days per RA 9184. The bidder shall submit a bid security declaration or any form of bid security in an amount not less than the required percentage of the ABC in accordance with the following schedule. Cash or cashier's check issued by the Universal of Commercial Bank, which is 2%. Now, bank draft guarantee or a revocable letter of credit issued by a Universal or Commercial Bank, provided, however, that it shall be confirmed and authenticated by a Universal or Commercial Bank if issued by a foreign bank, which is 2%, surety bond upon demand issued by a surety or insurance company duly certified by the Insurance Commission as authorized to issue such security, which is 5%. Any discrepancy in the amount even a centavo means non-compliant. If the validated exceeds 120 calendar days, the contractor should renew and submit a new bid securing declaration or BSD, considering that all legal, technical, and financial documents should still be valid during award. Number 4, bid security in prescribed form for the amount and validity period. For project requirements, the bidders should attach the organizational chart for the contract to be bid, including the list of contractors' key personnel, to be assigned to the contract with their complete qualification data and affidavit of commitment to work on the project of the contractor's key technical personnel, which there must be no duplication of key functions wherein assignments of several projects of key personnel is strongly discouraged because it was found out that some contractors have one project engineer with multiple ongoing contract projects. The 5 key technical personnel must have experience similar to the contract project to be bid at least 50% of ABC, or as follows: project manager is not necessary a licensed civil engineer. However, the experience should have minimum of 5 years experience of same position and 3 years experience of similar position. Project engineer must be duly licensed civil engineer, should be current and updated with minimum of 5 years experience of same position, 3 years experience of similar position. For the materials engineer, must be a licensed civil engineer with minimum of 5 years experience of same position, 3 years experience of similar position, duly DPWH accredited materials and quality control engineer. Foreman with minimum of 5 years experience of same position and 2 years experience of similar position. For the safety and health officer with a certificate duly accredited by DOLE as safety officer. The bidder should have a safety officer 3 or SO3 regardless of amount and category, wherein the requirements and appointment, designation, and job description as safety officer. If the company doesn't have a safety officer, they should attach a pledge of commitment to undertake trainings for 48 hours. Additional info, they were advised not to manufacture the experience of their key technical personnel just to suit with the requirements. All the licenses and credentials of the key technical personnel must be current and updated. These attachments should be visible and have a clear copy. The BAC advised that the pledged project engineer for the project should not be conflicting with other projects, considering that the supervision will be difficult, and this is one of the reasons that will cause negative slippage. A project engineer can handle within the same jurisdiction but outside is quite questionable for his capacity to supervise. List of contractors, major construction, and lab equipment units owned, leased, or under purchase agreements must be supported by proof of ownership or lease or purchase and certification of availability of equipment from lessor vendor for project duration. Certification of minimum laboratory equipment duly certified by any DPWH office as per DEO number 80 series of 1990 and reiterated for strict compliance as per DEO number 138 series of 2015, DEO 11 series of 2017 to ensure that the said certification is current and updated, which has only 1 year validity and still subject for post-qualification. Construction Safety and Health Program per DEO 129 series of 2014. The preparation of the Safety and Health Program is component of the technical proposal as per department order, of which the limitation is 1 safety officer within limited jurisdiction on the limits not exceeding 50 million. However, per project must have 1 first aider, and it is not necessarily approved considering that this will be resubmitted if they will be awarded with the project. The compliance of construction safety and health is now a law as per Republic Act 11058 dated August 2018. The safety officer 3 should be on site since this is one of the requirements during inspection of the personnel from DOLE. There will be a penalty if the safety officer is not around during the inspection of DOLE. The company should also conduct monthly, quarterly, yearly report as one of the OSH requirement in construction industry. The bidders were advised to prepare their own construction safety and health program. For the omnibus sworn statement in the form, the omnibus sworn statement has 9 items. They should comply with a standard form wherein, in the absence of one item, it will be rated as failed. For the affidavit of site inspection, inspection of the project site is encouraged in order to validate the site prior to dropping of bids to avoid future problem. Because the contractor has the responsibility to complete the project once awarded to them. For the financial proposal, this must be included also the bid form, the bid prices in the bill of quantities, detailed estimates including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rentals used in coming up with the bid. So mo na ang dapat sa inyong detailed no na agid na diha ang materials, ang labor ug ang material. Ang lamsam na to no mo na atong gikuan pod before di mo gid malikayan ang lamsam no kay per item naa man ang lamsam. Usually na ni sa mga building nga projects makaduol lang gid mo sa planning, pwede mo mangayo og breakdown sa lamsam no for kuan pod na siya for smooth implementation sa project. No? So makaduol lagid mo unsay suod sa lamsam kay di man pare sa ubang item nga per square naa na dayo no kay per square man lamsam compromise po nagdaghan kay materials. So quarterly, monthly cash flow and payment schedule must be present also in the financial proposal. Failure to attach any requirement or any missing, incomplete, or patently insufficient documents in the above mentioned is a ground for outright rejection for the bid and will fall as non-compliant. All documents to be submitted must be current and updated, otherwise it will be rated as failed. The technical and financial proposal must be in A4 size, mo na itong standard sa atong bid documents, well paginated with duly authorized signatures and book-bounded to avoid insertion. Further, the authorized liaison officer will be the one to drop the bids. The bidders will also advise to be responsible to their bid submitted in accordance with the checklist, and their technical and financial proposals should have proper pagination based on the number or order if the checklist including proper sequencing of documents. Their submitted documents should be done accordingly. If the legal A documents are attached, much better. However, if the documents are expired, attach receipt of proof that the renewal is on process. The bid documents of the bidders must follow the completeness of the bid, both in form and substance. The bidders were advised not to recycle legal documents of documents attached in the previous submission of bids which have signatures and countersigns of the back members. It must be all original signatures attesting certified copies. Affidavits must be original signature. For the joint venture, whatever guidelines complied by one bidder should also be complied by the other bidder. For example, if one has a PhilJEPS registration, then the other one should also attach their PhilJEPS registration. Leaving blanks on the bid proposal for the unit bid price of total cost per item is considered failed, except indicated as zero, or which is understood as free to the government. Bidders with lowest bid during the opening of bid is not a guarantee to be awarded. Why? Kay subject for evaluation pa man ang inyong gidrop. all bid documents are still subject for bid evaluation and post-qualification prior to be declared as lowest calculated responsive bid and subsequently to be awarded for the contract. The bidders are given 3 days upon bidding for file for a motion for reconsideration. The BAC emphasized on the deadline of the receipt by the BAC of bids, which is 10 a.m. only as stipulated in the invitation of bid. Kung mulapas na sa 10 a.m., so dili na makadrop ang bidders. No, ato ginang gistrikto og maayo, i-close na nato ang atong hulganan diri beyond 10 a.m. in the morning. For the criteria and procedure for eligibility check, preliminary examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post-qualification and award. The BAC will determine the eligibility of the bidders based on the PhilJEP's registration on their legal aid documents, which should be maintained current and updated, including that of the Civil Works application or the CWA, which focuses on the NFCC, work experience of single largest completed contract, similar to the contract project for bidding at hand. The BAC will ascertain based on the checklist of the required documents to be submitted using pass or fail criterion during the preliminary and detailed bid evaluation. In addition, after the opening of bids as per 2016 revised implementing rules and regulation under section 32.2, the BAC will conduct a detailed bid evaluation of all the bids using non-discretionary criteria wherein it requires the completeness of bid. Bids not addressing or providing all the required items in the bidding documents, including, where applicable, bill of quantities, shall be considered non-responsive and thus automatically disqualified. In this regard, where a required item is provided but no price is indicated, the same shall be considered as not responsive, but specifying a 0 or a dash for the said item would mean that it is being offered for free of the government, except those required by law or regulations to be provided for. In case of discrepancies between bid prices and figures and in words, the latter shall prevail, no? Ang words ang mo prevail. Total price per item and unit price for the item as extended or multiplied by the quantity of that item. Unit cost in the detailed estimate and unit cost in the bill of quantities, the same will be applied to the detailed checking evaluation of the technical. The same will be applied, no, sa katong checking evaluation of the proposal. Then the bidder, rated as the lowest calculated bidder, will undergo post-qualification. Once post-qualified, the bidder will be determined as lowest calculated responsive bid and subsequently to be awarded for the contract. All bidders are of equal footing thereby. Bidders are advised to include all taxes, other fiscal and duties as mandated by law in all items of work, which details are shown in the detailed estimates. For the post-qualification, the bidders were advised to read Department Order Number 127, Series 2018, and other issuances relative to this matter, since the BAC will be very keen and strict on the conduct of post-qualification process, considering that the concerned officials or employees, including the concerned BAC members, will be liable to the administrative penalties if this directive will not be followed. As per DEO number 127, the contractor will not be awarded with a certain project if it has a negative slippage of at least 15% in a single contract or at least 10% in 2 or more contracts. During post-qualification, even though the contractor is the lowest bidder, still it is subject for further verification to ensure the compliance of the requirements of the contract. With that, the office will be sending a letter being the lowest calculated bid, which within 5 days from the receipt of notice, the bidder must submit the latest income and business tax return and other appropriate licenses, permits, and other legal documents required and stated in the bidding document and as stipulated in the said communication. If not complied within 5 days, the next calculated lowest bidder will be notified. So, you're only given 5 days, no? On the other hand, the office will be sending a letter of inquiry on the committed failure on the bidding at hand. Thus, this communication must be acted upon the contractor on the required time frame. Otherwise, without action taken, it will be relatively resort to sanction, which will fall on the three-strike policy, which a tantamount of blacklisting, suspension of the contractor. If the bidder will commit 3 mistakes in a year, then they will be recommended for further sanctions. Moreover, the qualification and experience of the key technical personnel is subject for verification as part of the post-qualification process. They are allowed to replace their key personnel technical, which they have to write a letter 14 days prior to the proposed replacement, duly approved by the HOPE of the office. The BAC will be strict on the compliance of the equipment as part of post-qualification. It is stated as per DEO number 127 series 2018. The contractor can attach in the proposal the list of equipment or agreement to purchase or proposal to rent or agreement on the delivery of the equipment so that the contractor will be assessed as compliant in terms of equipment requirement. The OR and CR must be present, Also, it must be current and updated, not expired. The equipment should be calibrated and accredited, and the registration should be current and updated. Whatever is stipulated in the BDS should be followed. An inspection will be conducted on the verification of equipment during other documents to be evaluated. Also, to be verified during post-qualification is the set of equipment pledged by the bidder. The bidder should in the submitted bid location of the equipment where they can be inspected. Ang atong DPWH members kay mo inspect na sa inyong equipment pledge, If any piece of equipment is not in the specified location, then the bidder shall be post-disqualified as per Department Order Number 9, Series of 2012. 10 calendar days upon receipt of the NOA or Notice of Award, the contractor must comply the following. Notice of Award with the bidder signed for a joint venture, contractor's PCAB license, special joint venture license, and joint venture agreement. Performance security in any of the forms specified in the instruction of bidders. The performance security shall be in the amount not less than the required percentage of the total contract price in accordance with the following schedule. Cash or cashier's manager's check, which is 10%. Surety bond callable upon demand issued by a surety or insurance company duly certified by the Insurance Commission as authorized to issue such security, which is 30%. So, ang sa inyong construction methods, kay naputay form, follow lang ta sa form. Ang construction schedule in the form of PERT CPM diagram or precedence diagram and bar chart with S-curve, cash flow, contractor's all-risk insurance or CARE to be submitted during the period required on the submission of the required documents in the award of contract. However, the effective date is on the effectivity of the contract. Latest income tax and business returns duly stamped and received by BIR and duly validated with the tax payments made. Tax clearance from the BIR to prove full and timely payment of taxes. For a local contractor, certification under oath stating that a contractor is free and clean of all tax liabilities for a foreign bidder for the summary.
Okay, so I think that's all. This pre-bid conference is hereby adjourned. Thank you very much for coming.